me here to the hospital to my mother. So then I have time. Aroye makom shenasu bo nisim l'Yisrael. If somebody sees a place where miracles were done for the Jewish people, Oimer, he says, Baruch she'asa nisim la'avotenu b'makom hazeh. He says, bless Hashem that made miracles to our forefathers in this place. For example, places where the Jewish people crossed the Red Sea, or the place where the Jewish people crossed the Jordan, or the place where the Jewish people crossed the Arnon River. All those places, if somebody passes by, he has to make a blessing. As I mentioned, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember anymore, that in Sinai Desert, in Saudi Arabia as well, there is still today in Saudi Arabia a big stone, a big column, which is written on it in Hebrew old letters in the time of King Solomon. They say that this is the area where the Jewish people passed across the Red Sea. And there used to be also on the side of Egypt, where Israel was controlling the half of island of Sinai. They say Moshe Dayan came with a helicopter of the army, and he stole the column which was written on it. Here, the Jewish people crossed the Red Sea. So he was thinking that he stole some physical artifact, archaeology object, but it really wasn't that.
Which he did well.
Yes, he did well, but the point is that he basically damaged the problem for the Jewish people to make a blessing. Because it says here, if somebody sees the place where miracles were done to the Jewish people, and when people passed by, they knew this is a place because it was a column written by the Jewish people 3,000 years ago. And that's where the Jewish people crossed the Red Sea. Same thing is where they crossed the Jordan. Putin, I went with the students. Was you guys, I think?
No, we went recently.
Recently, I took you guys, right?
Yeah.
We went to the Jordan River, where the Jewish people crossed the Jordan River. I took you guys. It was you.
Yeah.
And we have to say a bracha then. Should have said a bracha. We did say it. We said without Shem Machos. I said without Shem Machos.
Well, they came out of that spot?
Yes, that's the place which is known
That's
as
where
the Jewish people
Yeshua
crossed the Jordan River.
So there wasn't a post there?
What?
There wasn't anything identifiable?
It wasn't a post.
All right,
but,
but you know the Yarden.
Yeah, Jordan, yeah, we knew that place. So he has to say, Baruch Shasan Nisim La'aseh Makom Hazeh. Blesses Hashem that He made miracles our forefathers, that place. Makom shenekra mimenu avodat kochavim u'mazalot. If he goes into a place where service of idols was uprooted, Omer Baruch she'akar avodat kochavim u'mazalot me'artzeinu. Bless Hashem that uprooted avodah zarah from our country. Al hazikim v'al hazvaot v'al hara'amim. What is zikim? I will explain later on. What is zikim? I think zikim is you have like flying stars. Like not flying stars. You have
Comets.
What?
Comets.
Chametz?
Like rocks from space, right?
Comets. C-O-M-E-T.
C-O-M-E-T. Comet.
Comet.
Comet. Okay. ועל הזוועות, זוועות is terror, והרעמים is thunders, ועל הרוחות, and the winds, tornadoes with strong winds, ועל הברקים and thunders, lights. Oimer Boruch shekoichu gvurosov aloilom. Bless Hashem, His power and His mightiness fills the world.
Brakim lightning? Thunder.
Brakim is
Thunder.
is lightnings. The amim is the noise. How do you call it? The
No, yeah.
thunders. So amim is thunders, and rakim is the
Barak
light.
is
Is the lightnings. Alahorim alakvois, on the mountains and on the hills. V'alayomim on the river, on the seas. V'alanarot on the rivers. V'ala midbarot and on the deserts. Oimer, he says, Baruch oseh maseh bereshit. Bless Hashem that does the action of creation. Very strange. The Rashi says about the Gemara asks, Atu anach delel ma'aseh bereshis. The previous ones are not ma'aseh bereshis. Only this is ma'aseh bereshis. That's what he said. So on thunders and on lightnings, he says, Hashem shows his power and his mightiness. On big rivers, big deserts, seas, mountains, he says, Baruch Hashem HaBereshit. Bless Hashem that he created its action of creation. Now, the Amram Gaon says that you don't say this blessing Oseh Maseh Bereshit only on special mountains that a person gets amazed from. But simple hills and mountains, you don't make a bracha, because there's thousands of hills everywhere. But for example, if you go to Machu Picchu, whatever it's called, Machu Picchu, or you go to Guilin in China, or go to all those places which are mountains, are weird mountains, pointy, and who knows what, mountains and hills which are weird, seas. You go to the Titlan Lake. Titlan Lake is one of the most nicest lakes in the world. It's a big lake inside a volcano mountains, etc. So it's very beautiful, it's all green, this and that. So that's special. So we have seas or rivers which are special. So then you say, Oiseh Ma'aseh Bereshis. But if it's a normal mountain, every time you come to Mount Zion, come learn some Torah. Comes to learn come up to the mountain Zion, you have to make a bracha. Has to be a special mountain, an exotic, maybe that's a better word, an exotic, special mountain, and that you make a bracha, not every mountain. Rabbi Yehuda says, Aroye Sayam Agodol, one who sees the big sea. Oimer, he says, Baruch She'asai Tayam Agadol. Bless Hashem that made the big sea. Bizman sheroeu leprokim. In the time when he sees it from time to time. Rashi says, Lefishu chashuv gadol mikulan. Seas is important and bigger from all other seas. Kavala Rabbi Yehuda said that it sets a blessing for itself. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, only the big sea, he say Baruch Shoseh Tayam Agadol. But any other seas, he doesn't say Baruch Shoseh Tayam Agadol. What about Atlantic Ocean? Is it only the Mediterranean Sea, or every Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Oceans, or only in Pacific Atlantic, not the Mediterranean Sea? So it seems to be that Arot Tayam Agadol, the big sea means the Mediterranean Sea. So what about Atlantic Oceans? Doesn't say. We have to deal with it. Somebody sees big rains or good besora. Besora means good news. But what does it mean? He sees rain.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What does that mean? You ever heard about the concept called Shever Anan? Anan means cloud. Shever means a crack, a broken, broken cloud. It gets broken, and it cleans everything out. It cleans all the light. You ever saw that? We had it in the summer. Last summer, we had in the middle of the summer. If you remember, on Shavuos time. You remember? Last year, that middle of the summer. Remember? Suddenly it rained, and it rained in 2 hours. An hour and a half, 2 hours. It rained an amount of maybe 2 or 3 days, and all the streets became flooded. Remember? Everything was leaking. There was so much rain in 1 hour, 2 hours. Each drop was like this. Rain for 1 hour or so, 1 hour and a half. Everything we had here in the Yeshiva, all the rooms, room 28, all those rooms which below the level of the road, got filled with water. Filled top to the top. Filled with water. Everything was, it was very strange. Remember that? You remember, right? So that's called Shiur. Anyhow, so that's rain, which is special, a monsoon. Monsoon. It was monsoons period. I don't know what you have in Mexico and in Texas. You have monsoons in Texas?
Yeah, it rains.
No, but it rains at a level of weird rain?
Weird.
Okay, anyhow. So it says on the rain, he say, Bol Hatova Meiti. Why? What?
So it rained in a week and a half straight from the time.
Where? In
Texas, in the north.
So probably everything got flooded.
Rare.
And then everything flooded, right?
It's just everything was so wet, which is not absolutely not normal. It's an arid region.
So one who sees the big sea, Rabbi says, he says special blessing, it's only if he sees from time to time. On rain and on good news, he says, Baruch atov amiti. The Mishnah continues. Al besorot ra'ot. And bad news, Oimer, he says, Baruch dayan ha'emet. Blesses is the true judge. They're very important. We see from the Judaism, into the Torah, we bless on the bad like we bless on the good. Now, why is that? How can you bless on the bad? On bad news, you say, Baruch dayan ha'emet. Why do you say, bless Hashem, the true judge? For example, somebody died. You heard somebody died. A relative says somebody died. He blesses Hashem. Baruch atov amiti. First of all, why does he bless? And number two, how can he bless? Both dynamics.
Because you're questioning his judgment.
Oh. So because you question so you should bless Hashem, you should, okay. You don't complain. Why to bless?
Because you're ultimately wrong.
It's true. But why do we bless? It's true. Why do we bless?
Maybe a recognition for ourselves.
What?
Maybe it's a recognition for ourselves that God does everything.
So it's a way to arouse ourselves to this connection. Must be. Yes, it can be as well. Recognition of ourselves. But also, it's not only recognition, it's really, this is the power of Judaism, that we bless Hashem and the bad like the good like the bad, because there's no bad. Everything is for a reason. Arouse ourselves, connect to Hashem. So therefore, we can bless Hashem also in the bad, equal as the good.
That's what you don't know Olam Haba.
What?
I say that's what you're going to say in Olam Haba.
Yes. We'll see the full picture.
Right.
We see everything for the bad was really for the good. So we bless Hashem. And it's amazing. It's one of the most amazing things. A person's parents die, and he has the most biggest pain in his heart that his family member died. His father, mother, somebody he grows from. And in the same moment, he can bless Hashem. He say, Baruch Adonai Hamed. You know, because after when his baby gets big inheritance, he bless Hashem for the inheritance. Very true. And the Yeshiva Hashem used to say, how is it possible that a person in the same emotions of crying and mourning can say a blessing of thanking Hashem for the inheritance? So he said, yes, a person could have double or contradicting emotions in the same period of time. You could. And that's why you bless on the good thing, and you curse on the bad things. But in the good things, you bless. Continue on. Bona bais chodosh. If somebody build a new house, vekono kelim chadishim, or he bought new clothing, new vessels. Oimer, he says, Baruch shechiyanu v'kimanu v'genu lazeh. Bless Hashem that He made us alive and He has sustained us and He reached us to this time. Shechiyanu, on a new house. Why you bless on a new house, Shechiyanu? A new house expand the mind of a person. New vessel, new clothing. He says, Baruch shechiyanu v'genu lazeh. Now, what about
New fruit.
What about new fruit? Something else. What about new shoes? You make a bracha on new shoes. Or since shoes come out of animals, non-kosher animal, whatever, you cannot say shechion. So the Ramos says that since new shoes comes from leather shoes, and you had to slaughter an animal, to kill an animal, or an animal had to die for you to use the skin, so we cannot say shechion. It's not a complete happiness. Materials that we wear, or synthetic, or grows on the ground, for example, flax and
Gore-Tex.
what?
Gore-Tex.
Cotton or cortex, whatever it is basically all those things that grow. So the rabbis gave us the opportunity to bless Hashem. All those things that new things. But things which are new things, which have also in them mixed of a little bit of sadness that you had to kill an animal, you can't make a blessing. You know what is spodik? You ever heard about the concept of spodik? You know spodik? Spodik is also
the old
Hasidic hat, triangle hat of the Hasidim.
Like a teepee.
You cannot say on it shechion. Why?
It's off.
It's off animal that they killed an animal for it. So although we use animals for the human beings' benefit, but it's not a complete happiness. Because how can you be happy with Hashem and say, bless Hashem, shechiyon v'kiyona, thank you Hashem that you keep us alive and you sustained us until this moment that I can wear an animal, killed a murdered animal, who knows what, skin. You can bless. The Jewish people are not off the wall, that they don't understand that animals are made to serve man. But we feel a bit sad that this animal had to die. We have the feeling for the animal, and that's why we don't make a blessing on it.
Adam would not have given a blessing when Hashem gave him the garments of leather? Or
If the garment of leather came from the skin of animals and an animal had to die, you can make a blessing. I could make a blessing and thank Hashem in the same moment that there's also sadness in it, because you have people that want to get something out of it, they can't.
they cannot.
It's not a complete happiness. We cannot thank Hashem on an object which has good things, that's good new things, but also you have there an animal that had to die. So even though we know that animals need to serve man, if animal damage man, we have to kill the animal, but the animal doesn't damage a man, you not to kill it. For example, we had a story here with mice. We had mice here in the yeshiva. So we had someone, I brought in here a separate trap that is a sticking.
Yeah.
So some rabbi said, we shouldn't have brought the sticky traps. We should have bought those traps made out of metal that grabs them. Because if you put sticky trap, they die cruelly. They get stuck into it and they die from hunger. They try to get out of it and the skin gets ripped. And it's very cruel trap. So I didn't have the big trap. So I used this. That's what I had in my house. That's what I bought. And I said, you're right. So one of the students came and said, can I take it out and let it, or kill it more to die quicker? I was like, this is dying. So really, you have to trap the mice, because they were eating all the leftovers of food here, they're running around. And mice is known, they can bring sicknesses, very severe. Mice are one of the most famous, I wouldn't say number one, but one of the most prominent creatures that move around sicknesses. Carriers of diseases. Yeah. He says when they take feces out and it gets dry, the powder of that fisa is very dangerous. It brings a lot of sicknesses and mice. It's very dangerous. So we have to get rid of it. So we must get rid of it. So no way, but if you can really get rid of it without cruelty, is the right thing. You're not to be cruel. Okay? So same thing is here. How can you make a complete blessing to Hashem? Thank you, Hashem. That it's alive. You sustain us until it's time that I can make a blessing on my shoes. But this leather shoes came from an animal. The animal was killed, murdered, had pain. You're wearing a hat, you know. So it's from here we can learn that the fact we cannot say Shechion on it. We can learn that the Torah really telling us that we should not be part of all those companies or groups or whatever it is.
Peter.
Social groups that they believe that we shouldn't kill animals and we should prohibit shechita and so on. We don't say that. So there is a place to eat animals. The Torah permits it before Noach came to the world. Hashem did not permit to eat animals. Only vegetables. Only Noach came, he's allowed to eat the animals. So animal is something a person anyhow should not eat in the first place. Only if he eats, the Torah permitted it. But the other Rabbi tells us you don't eat it, very rare, because it's damaging for the body. It's not healthy for the body to digest. But now we're saying more than that. You cannot make a blessing on the leather because the type of leather that came from houses that came from places when animals destroy. So it's not nice at all. So not a complete happiness.
But we do a blessing in Shechakor.
But you're eating it. That's what it's meant to.
Eating what?
No, he's saying you bless on eating meat, but that's what they're made to service for right now. We're vegetarians only until Noah.
Yeah.
And we'll be vegetarians, I think, when Mashiach comes.
Who knows? That's a
It's
theory.
supposed to be.
But I know before Noach time, the whole world were not allowed to eat the animals and were vegetarians. The truth is, they say if a person doesn't eat meat, by nature he was going to live another 10 more years than a person eats meat. The Chinese people don't have any beard. You know why? Because they don't eat any chelbon. They don't eat any protein. They don't eat much protein. They don't have beards. You see, so the Indians and the Chinese, they don't have a beard. Everything is like men and women all the same, because of the different type of food. But what do we see? That hair, it's animalistic things. It's animal. It's not something that we eat part of. Okay. Mevorich al haro mein al hatoivo. He blesses on the bad in the way of the good. For example, Dayana Emet, the true judge. V'al hatoivo mein haro, and the good from the same subject of the bad, which means Rashi says, hatoivo amiti, the good and the one who causes. He says, Atoim Amiti. So even on the bad, he blesses. David HaMelech was one of the most famous rabbis that he always blessed on the good and on the bad the same. He was singing when he had bad, he was singing when he had good. Always he saw everything was the good and bad, he was singing to Hashem. So that's what he says, you have to bless on the bad in the same way from the good and from the same subject of the good. And I met. The same thing is, you bless and the good. When you praise about the past, it's a prayer and waste. His wife was pregnant. And he says, he says, let it be a will that my wife will give birth to a male. It's a prayer waste. The Arabs are very into women giving birth to men. And if somebody has girls, they call them Abuel Banat. They have that in Egypt. I don't know if they have it. And not only that, he's ashamed to tell his friends he had a daughter. It's not considered nothing. Yeah, Abuel Banat is zero. But if Abuel Banin is a father of men, children, important. He's Abu Musa, Abu Abra, Ibrahim, Abu Muhammad, have all those names. But when they have only girl, only children, then they have only girls with no appreciation.
Sfardim do the same. They say Mabruk for the boy and then Shetiye Bira for the girl. Yeah, the Sfardim. Mabruk.
Mabruk. Because they don't have a child, they want boys. So anyhow, a person that his wife is already pregnant and he comes from Arab countries, he doesn't want to have a girl. So he's praying, please Hashem, give me a boy. It's a prayer and waste. Because his wife is already pregnant, boy or girl. It's called a wasted prayer. If it's somebody coming on the way. Veshoma, and he heard Kol Tzavachu. He heard a voice of shouting by in the city. When he says, Yehi Ratzon Shalater B'toch Bisi, so it'll be a will should not be in my house, from my house. It's a prayer and waste. Prayer and waste. Why? Because after already the reality. The reality is there. You already heard the shouting. So if it's from his house, how can you say it should be from house? This is a very important story. There is an argument between the philosophers, also in Judaism.
Amen.
Have you ever heard the concept of quantum physics? What is quantum physics? Quantum physics theory is that nothing exists in reality. It's only what people perceive. What people perceive, that's a true reality. And they have ways to prove it. There are ways to show you. You have, for example, they shoot electrons through a hole, and they show that where the electrons being monitored create waves, and when it's not monitored or doesn't realize getting monitored, doesn't create waves. So from there, they want to prove, and some other proofs they have, that all the reality of the world is only relevant to man. When the man perceives it, the reality is in our mind. Our eyes translate the lights in our mind to a picture. So the whole reality is only relevant to people's mind. But if it's not relevant to people's mind, that reality doesn't exist. Which means there's no reality. Reality only exists in people's mind. And people's mind exists only when we perceive. When we don't perceive, it doesn't exist. For example, I will say in a positive way. The Baal Shem Tov says, where are you? A man, where he is, where his thoughts are. Where you are, where your thoughts are. Very deep. Which means your essence and your being is your mind, is what you perceive. That's who you are. So where your thoughts are, that's where you are. If my thoughts is now here in this room, I'm here. If my thought is somewhere else, that's the me. So I'm somewhere else. Quantum physics. Reality has to do relating to a person's reality. For example, if now in my mind we have in the middle of New Zealand, in the forest in New Zealand, you have leaves falling down. See, this is not relative. According to quantum physics, it doesn't exist. Which means New Zealand, this moment, in the forests, let's say there's a lot of forests in New Zealand that no man ever walked in there for who knows what, for thousands of years. So they say that doesn't exist because the only existing in the world is only reference to our thoughts and our mind. There's one of the theories, and I want to prove it. Anyhow, here it says that one who shouts to Hashem on the pass, Areza Tfilah Shov, is a prayer and waste. For example, his wife was pregnant, and he says, "Let it be a will that my wife will give birth to a male boy." Areza Tfilah Shov, it's a prayer in vain. If somebody who's coming to the way and you heard the shout and he says, "There'll be a will in front of you that shouldn't be from my house." It's a waste. It's already done. But if is virtual reality, So whatever it's called. I'm just joking. But, which means all the reality is only relevant to a person's thinking and mind. So it doesn't exist. But anyhow, the Gemara says you cannot pray. Because it exists already, it's a waste. It's tefillah shov. Yes.
Is that only if you've already checked what the child is?
No.
No,
That's the point.
but you can't change it.
So once the baby is...
They can't change it. Although we know the stipulus says that if somebody is being somebody doesn't feel good, he goes to the hospital, before he's being diagnosed by a doctor, he still can pray to God. It's not considered in the level of miracle. But when it's being diagnosed, it's already known, so the result is doing that with a miracle, because he has to change the reality. So as long as you don't know the reality, it's in the hands of Hashem, Hashem can change. But it doesn't mean there's no reality. There's reality, but you can ask Hashem, it's not considered a miracle, it's not recognized a miracle. But once it's recognized, so it's considered in the level of miracle, but still considered reality. And that's what it says in the Mishnah here.
So it's better
When
to
you
hold it
heard, you know your wife is pregnant. So the reality, to pray is considered tefillah shov, even though it's not a real miracle, but you need to pray, you want to change. It's called prayer of waste, unless he has some miracles. But it's not a real miracle. Same thing as you heard a voice shouting, he goes, it shouldn't be from my house. If it came from your house, it's a reality, you can't change it. It's already passed. And past, you cannot pray, you cannot change. Okay, we'll stop here because I have to go to the hospital. So it's really for Mazel Botzer.
Amen.